Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live Sessions. This is an early one today because, we just like to keep it spontaneous. I don't know. Today we have Rory that's going to come and share his music with us. Hey, Bianca. As always, I'm sponsored by Decade Sound Studios, and they are a recording studio here in Tacoma, Washington. And if you'd like to look them up and need some services, they'll be able to help you out. Their website is tacomarecordingstudio.com, so be sure to check them out. All right, let's bring Rory on. Maybe. There we go.
Hello.
I was a little concerned there for a second.
Uh-oh. How's it going?
How's it going, friend?
I'm all right. How are you?
Pretty good. Nice to meet you sort of in person.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. It's definitely been something I've been looking forward to because you're just so amazing what you do, and I was excited to have you on.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the people kind of a little bit about you, if you don't mind?
Sure, yeah. I'm a singer-songwriter from New Jersey, New York City area. I've been playing since I was a little kid, upside down and backwards on the guitar. What's up, Perrin? I'm sorry, I just saw someone I knew in the comments.
Yeah, of course. It's always good to say hi to people.
Absolutely. It's always nice to see some familiar faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, so that's pretty much my my shtick,
Yeah.
Just sort of play what comes to the heart,
Yeah. So, I've seen you kind of really grow into this awesome interviewer and just being able to have some amazing people on your show, incredible acts that I've literally gone through and wrote them all down and went through. I think I'm through half the list now because I'm pretty sure I haven't heard of at least 90% of the people that you've had on. And
well, you as well on here. I know there's been some overlap. I think we've both kind of been keeping an eye on what the other one is doing. Obviously tonight Camden West is going to be on the showcase I run, and that was in large part due to your help, due to your suggestion. Nick Isham too, right? So there's a lot of great indie talent out there that can use a little boost. So
I agree.
I definitely appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you. It's likewise, friend. I always try, if I think of somebody, I'm like, oh, Rory would definitely like this guy.
Absolutely appreciate that.
You're like one of the first people I think of. It depends on the genre, because you kind of do everybody a little bit. So I'm like, I kind of think of you as if I have a really good person, I just throw them at you. But there's a couple of other people that are just country or just, metal or something like that. But you're easy. I can just be like, bro, here you go.
Hey, the more variety, the better,
Exactly. That's what I like. That's what I like about doing this show, is being able to have just a variety of people, and it's not just the same genre. That way people get an eclectic and it kind of fits everybody. So
exactly. Yeah.
What made you want to start that show?
Well, quarantine had started. I started it, I think the first episode was actually, I think it was April 1st, which is funny because that's April Fool's. But I think that was what I did. And it was just, everyone was kind of down about missing live music, and I was missing my friends. And I've always been really delighted by how many talented people I've been able to come into contact with. So I was like, all right, this seems like it would serve a few purposes. It would enable people to get live music. It would allow people who want to play live music to have some kind of platform. And it just gives me a chance to hype up my friends, It's
exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I started too. I started in 2019, and it was right after I met Camden, actually. And I was like, dude, like, I want to just like be able to have a platform for all these amazing artists and just people that are just, you know, Camden's not originally from Seattle. He's from Las Vegas. And so he had come up with another musician friend that I know, and they were playing at a show together. And I was like, man, both of them. And then I have several other musician friends. And so I was like, what can I do to like help these guys, you know? And so I started doing it in person here in Seattle, like and then eventually Decade Sound Studios was like, hey, you could do it in our studio and we'll let you use all of our equipment. And I was like, yes. So awesome. Like that started November, and then just as I was getting momentum for it, COVID hit.
Yeah. So it interrupted the progress you were making, but it sounds like you adapted pretty well. I mean,
yeah,
it's taken on.
I feel like so I think I started doing IG Live in like March 1st or something like that. It was somewhere in the beginning of March. It actually gave me the access to open up to like people outside of Seattle and Washington. Yeah. And I didn't realize, like, I was kind of closing myself off to all these amazing artists, staying just centered in Seattle. And so I was like, oh, I should just do everybody. I'm telling you, I was booked. I did 6 days a week, every single day. Oh my God. Like, yeah, from March until November. And then I just got burned out, and I was like, I can't, man. I had a full-time job, and like, I was like, this is just taking up my whole life trying to like figure this out. And so I stopped and went down to like a couple of days. And then this year I decided to do just 1 day a week. And then if people have like releases or something, then I'll do a different day, you know? But yeah, like it just kind of evolved naturally, like just trying to go with the time, I guess, you know? Yeah. And I had felt the same way. I was just like, man, like I was missing music. And I also lost my brother at the end of February. And so, yeah, it was really devastating for me, and it really hit me really hard. And so I was like the thing that I would do to like get through life is go to shows. Well, there wasn't any. Yeah. So I just made the show. I just like hammered down on that show just to like get through it. And then here we are. Like, I've just met so many like amazing people through that process and expanding my horizons.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Really. I mean, and not to, jump into the comments again, but I see my buddy, Akshit here, who's from India, and I met him through Instagram and had him on the showcase, and we've become good friends. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, once you open it up to anywhere, you really can reach, anybody.
Yeah. And that's what's amazing, like I've now had people in Canada and in UK. I have a guy in Spain that's coming up, like a band in Spain, and France. Like I was like, oh yeah, I could go international. Like, so I mean, for the two of us to be able to just, be able to go outside of where we're at with just a simple phone is just crazy thought to me.
It really is. Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to take it for granted, but then I'm like, sometimes I look at my phone and I'm like, this box is like literally connecting me to the world. That's a beautiful thing. So, but it's not, of course, it's not just the technology. The technology enables it, but it takes initiative and time and dedication and stuff too. So, I said, I definitely commend what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you, in the beginning, did you have to like look for people? Like, were you doing research for people?
And so in the beginning, it was kind of like what you're describing in Seattle. And I think you mentioned the studios in Tacoma, is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in Washington. So for me, it was like, there were so many people in the New Jersey, New York area that I had like a backlog of people. I was like, oh, I want to have them on. I want to have this person on. And then eventually it got to the point where I would, go looking for people as well. How about yourself?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was definitely looking for people. It was just I was spending hours researching on Instagram, just following rabbit holes of people. Like I'd find one person and then, they'd have a recommendation and I just follow that rabbit hole all the way down. Right. Yeah. And then eventually, like, I don't know, somewhere around September or something, I started having to look less and less, and I started getting messages from people, and then people that are watching the show became like regulars of the show, which blew my mind too.
Yes.
And which I didn't think would happen. And like they were like, oh, you should look into this person, you should look at, and then eventually just now I don't even have to, like now it's just people come to me. But you know, after being like, what is it, a year and a half in now or something, like it's crazy to me to just think that like it's grown so much and all these amazing artists, and I could remember everybody. And I've had a lot of people on a couple of times because they'll come on for their releases or whatever, but I get a lot of like good like people that'll be like, dude, like I have a release next week, do you want to hear the new song and before it comes out? And I'm like, yes,
that's awesome. Yeah,
so it's kind of a cool like camaraderie.
exactly yeah, camaraderie, good way of putting it. Yeah, I've seen some of it too. I really cherish that stuff, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. It's been a blessing in itself, and moving into like being a business now, like aside from the interviews, like being able to do a business off of it and helping the artists that I love so much, and like it grew into something I never thought would happen.
Yeah, you never know, right? Sometimes things come from you know, the last places you'd expect it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about your music and like a little bit about that. I really feel like you just have such heartfelt music, friend. Like you are just a like all your songs, I can just feel them like deep. I don't know what it is. And
thank you.
You know, I just kind of want to know, like, what's your process and how do you just encapsulate those emotions so well?
Well, first of all, thank you. That's like pretty much like my biggest goal. That's the part of making music that I enjoy most, you know, being able to connect with someone at that level and, you know, hopefully make people feel things, or help them with what they are feeling. The process for me is really just like, honestly, a lot of times these songs start as just like me playing something on guitar, not even really necessarily looking to write about any particular thing, and then just sort of singing random words leads me in some direction, and then I think my subconscious mind takes over and unconscious mind takes over, and you know, leads me into writing about things that have happened to me or to other people. But yeah, it's all kind of just like not effortless, but just sort of like very, very kind of like a passive process for me, I guess.
Organic kind of.
Yeah, organic. That sounds much better than effortless and passive or whatever. But yeah, organic. Yeah.
I got you, Fred.
I got you. Yeah, you got me. I just roll with it. And luckily, at least so far, knock on wood, I feel like I've been able to get out what I was trying to say in like a reasonably effective way. And yeah, just hearing anytime anybody says something to me about like, oh, I've been there, I know what you mean, or you know, that kind of thing really goes a long way, you know.
Yeah. Do you find that it's easier to write in the moment, or is it easier to kind of let it sit and come to it later?
I guess it depends. Like this most recent song, "Power of My Love," I just wrote like in one. Like I literally sat down at my desk, like not even really trying to write, and then it just all came to me in one package, I guess. But sometimes there are songs that you revisit and they take on new forms. So typically, usually, I kind of get a little push and just kind of run with it. But sometimes it has been pieced together over time.
Yeah. Do you have in your phone? Are you like the rest of us and have like a notes full of like songs?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, that's funny too, because talking about the writing process is kind of weird to me because I've been writing for so long, and I've been procrastinating like forever. I just thought music is too hard, whatever, until like 3 years ago, and then I made a mad dash for every show opportunity and every, you know, any possible whiff of music, and so I've written like several hundred songs, or like 150 songs, and I'm just if I didn't write them down, I would forget them. So I have all the notes and all the voice memos, and you know, they're all called like random things. The notes are properly titled, like lyrics, you know, and then the name of the song. But the voice memos are like God knows what, you know. As I listen to it, I'm like, I really should have labeled this something other than like, you know, 203 Main Street or something like that. You know?
I do the same thing. Like, I'll forget. I'll just like, I won't even name it. Like, I'll just push record. Yeah. And then I'll go back later, like weeks later or something, and I'll just be like, what was this one? Oh, right. And then you have to like go back to your notes and be like, oh, which one does this link up to? Like,
right. Well, the other good thing about that is I guess you can really listen with fresh ears at that point because you don't know what you're about to hear. Yeah. And see if you can, I do that too. Like, I like being able to kind of improve on it and see if I can make it better and more richer, or, you know, anything like that. Like, I enjoy the process of making it the best it can be. Yeah. And then, you know, and usually by that point I'll like give it to somebody to be like, hey, can you tell me if this is actually good? Yeah. I like sharing it with people, and I love do you co-write with other people? I really haven't, and that's something I'm probably gonna try to delve into more deeply, but it sounds like you have. You like
so I mean, man, like, I love the co-writing process. Like, it's fascinating to me to be able to, both of us start with nothing and come to a just fire song at the end of it. And both of us in a creative space of just like really diving in with no distraction, no nothing, you know, like, and I find it just so much fun, like having that other mind, and, you know, like the old saying, like, two heads are better than one, and enjoying the process there too of us like laughing about it, or and the person I write with is Katie Wade, and she we just, you know, we don't put a time limit. Like, our first song together last year was 12 hours. I think by the end it was 22, but like in the beginning, the first day, it was 12 hours. Yeah. But like, we've gotten our time down. We, you know, I think we're at 5 now.
Gotcha. Yeah, otherwise you'd be making like one song every 3 years.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
But is there anybody you kind of wish you could write with?
Oh, you know, Paul McCartney. No.
Oh, right? Like the best lyricist of all time.
No, there's tons. I mean, in the showcases, really, you know, brought to the forefront all these people who I legitimately admire. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But I've gotten a few, you know, messages like, oh, we should write together. And I need to do it. It's just one of those things I've been writing for so long by myself that I think like it feels awkward initially, but I think, like you're saying, like it could be really beneficial and fun to kind of piece together things, especially since I think one of the other things I would say about my my process, so to speak, is it is kind of like a puzzle piecing together things. So like, why would you not want to have like other pieces on the table and other perspectives? That seems like it would be, you know, only could lead to good things.
Yeah, it also kind of gets you out of your own head, you know, because you only have your thought there. So like, you know, you like for one of my songs I had, I brought it to Katie and she's like, why don't we switch these words or whatever? Yeah. And I'm telling you, it changed the whole dynamic of the whole song. Like, it was just, you know, or I put the verse 2 and verse 1 instead and switched those. And it just, you know, so I think it lends to being able to be have a little bit more creativity in it, in the pool, and and have those pieces kind of like fit a little bit better, whereas normally you'd just be sitting there going, does this one go to this piece or this piece? Right. You know, like
no, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I encourage it. Like, it's fun, but it's not for everybody, you know. Some people are just like to write on their own, and so that's my own thing. But I mean, if you're open to it, I would definitely try, because it's so much fun if you find a good person to write with. So much fun.
I could definitely see it. That's definitely on my list of things to do.
Get a beer and some wine. I don't know, whatever your case is.
I mean, then once you add like alcohol into the equation, who knows what's gonna happen? You'll hear my next song will be like a reggaeton song or something. Yeah. Jazz fusion.
That would be amazing. I'm here for it.
I don't know if I'm here for it. I feel like you might regret encouraging that behavior.
I would take full responsibility of whatever comes from that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, your newest song, can you tell us a little bit about that song and the meaning behind it and how you came to write it?
Absolutely. So, my latest song is called "Power of My Love." What's up, Max? And I wrote it after I went to a memorial for my friend's cousin. Actually, Max knows this person. A friend of mine, Kristen Wilkins, her cousin was killed in a terrorist attack in New York.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not 9/11, but a few years later, a dude rented like a moving truck and just went into ran over some pedestrians. And,
Jeez.
that kind of shit is just hard to even conceptualize. But
yeah.
I remembered hearing about it at the time because I live, 15 minutes outside of New York City. And then, Perrin knows as well. Wow, this is really, Perrin and Max don't know each other, the two folks that just commented, but they both know this person that I'm talking about. But yeah, I ended up meeting Kristen a few years later, and I was like, oh my God, I know the event that you're talking about. And, that in and of itself was shocking and upsetting because Kristen's a really good person. From everything I've heard, Darren was a fantastic dude. And then I went to his memorial, heard the story, and saw all the people whose lives he had touched, and I was just like, "Jeez, man, it's like unbelievable." So I came home and I wrote this song called "Power of My Love." I think I wrote it in like an hour or something, which is like, it just really was whatever was on my heart at that time, I guess. And then recently, as you probably may already know, my father passed away, and I want to take the song away from Darren. I didn't want to take any of the emphasis away from, the person I wrote it for and the situation I wrote it for. But as I was listening to it back, it just sort of like some of the things I had said resonated with me. Not, sounds sort of like self, congratulatory or whatever. But at the end of the day, what's that?
Yeah, I totally hear you. Like, yeah.
It was a song about honoring somebody's memory, and I was like, oh man, I feel that, so yeah, it just ended up, I think at the end of the day, it's for Darren, and it, aspects of it remind me of my father. At the end of the day, it's really for anyone who's been through something like that. And I think ultimately, to some extent, we've all lost someone. I know, unfortunately, yourself as well. And we could all use a little bit of a reminder that love is, still alive and stuff like that. That's basically the crux of the song. The idea of the song is basically love can overcome anything.
Yeah, that's and I think it's so. In hearing this song, it's so powerful and like really just gosh, resonated with me, and I cried the first time, like all the way through. And also kind of knowing you and what happened, and just being able to kind of feel, I mean, I haven't lost my dad, but in losing my brother, and that just devastating loss of just losing somebody you love so much. And I just felt like it was such a beautiful song, friend. You did such an amazing job, like for real.
Thank you. Yeah,
you did Darren justice for sure, and anybody else who's like, lost anybody. And I think just know that you're healing people through it.
Jeez, thank you so much. Yeah, that's definitely, like I said, the goal. And I mean, that's like, in a way, if I hadn't heard anything from other people, I would be like, come on, like, what do you really think? Like, your song's gonna impact people that much? But I can only speak to what people have told me, and anyone who's come up to me and even just taken the time to listen, let alone tell me what it meant to them, means a lot to me. And just a quick shout out, sort of on the topic of co-writes and stuff. My producer, Rob Freeman, wasn't a co-writer, I guess, in a typical sense, but he did help me mold that song into everything it is now. He and the drummer, Nick Poltz, we were in the studio and really reinvented that song. So I owe a lot of the credit of, how the final product shaped up to those guys for really kind of hearing what I was putting down and making it bigger and, and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, now that as you're describing it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's because production and co-writing are not exactly the same, but there's those common threads if you're inviting someone else's creative perspective into the equation, and yeah, I mean, it was game changer. So, all right, I'm gonna go co-write like 5 songs. See you later.
All right, it's over, guys. No, I mean, I find that it was with that song, the production of it is props to them, because it is just phenomenal, and you can just feel it. Like, there is just so much feeling in that song, and I think it, with the weight of the last month for you, I think it just kind of gave just that much more feeling to it, and people and your fans and everybody else just feeling it with you and feeling through it with you, whether they've lost a parent or not. I feel like you can relate to it in some sort of way regardless, and anybody who knows you or cares about you in your show or your music or however they know you, I think that was probably just the best way you could have kind of brought people with you on that journey.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping. You know what I mean? At that moment, because I forget if I had mentioned, but I was planning to release the song on the 21st, and then my dad passed away on the 9th. And I was like, oh God, what do I do? I'm like, I'm a terrible son if I put this song out anyway. Do I feel okay enough to actually do all the things that come along with releasing the song? Because it's not just like you drop it and go, okay, there it is, world.
Yeah. For sure.
But my dad was like, literally could not be more supportive. I have all these voicemails of him that I'm going to throw one in the song at one point. At some point, it'll make its way into a song, I'm convinced. But, him just going, you're the best. You're going to do it. You're going to be famous. I'm so proud of you. So
that's amazing. You should put it in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that was the idea I had. Yeah, I'd throw it in. And I don't want to steal from someone else, but there's another Jersey band called Power Lines that had done something like that. The lead singer had lost her mom, and she had a really beautiful voicemail message in the intro, and I was just like really touched by it. And I said, that's awesome, but I think there's room for, different kinds of adaptations of that idea. But the long and short of it was, if there's any short version of anything I've said so far, it's just that, I hoped it would be the best way to honor him. And I think he would have said, you should do it. Thank you, Erin.
Yeah. Friend, I think that you did. And I think you should be super proud of yourself. And, I only know from what I read, what you wrote about him, and just, that you can just feel it from what you've written about him on social media. And I feel like he has to be proud of you. There is no, I was proud of you, and I didn't even know the guy. So, I mean, there's just so much there that music does. And I think that's the great thing about it, and probably what he saw in you is just that music can help people and heal people and, bring them together regardless. It's just the universal language. And also love is what brings everybody kind of in, and you can just feel that love through you, for sure.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you take away some like from that moment, and I know such a devastating loss is hard, but the beauty of it came, that you're able to share your music through people, and that's all he wanted for you,
Yeah, it does feel that way. And in some respects, I'm really glad that we were able to say everything that we did say, because, I mean, not only do I know he told me, I'm proud of you, you're going to do it. I even have recordings of him, as I said, him saying those words. So, obviously I never wanted him to go, but if he was going to go, I'm glad that I have all those things, and knowing that, and knowing that I have some kind of platform, however big or small, to kind of carry that on. I feel like, how could I really get too sad about that? There'll be moments where I'm sad, but
for sure,
so beautiful, beautiful things,
I mean, I'm a year and a couple months out, and I still have days where I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna hit me hard.
Like, yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, it's just gonna be, it's a raw for a while, as what I feel. Like I I still experience it as if, sometimes as if it was yesterday. And like there's, and like you, like I got to say what I wanted to say, and we had this like beautiful moment before everything happened. But you know, it's one of those things where I too wrote a couple of songs, and it ended up, I haven't released them, but I'm still kind of working on them to try and make sure that they're the best they can be too. But like I feel like, you know, those moments are when you're the most genuine and the most pure of yourself and your heart and your soul. And you're able to give people kind of an opportunity to kind of come through that and kind of heal with you, you know?
Yeah.
And give the opportunity for your audience, if you are on a platform, to kind of help you through it, you know, guide you or push you, or however you want to look at that, you know, through it. And it can be good or bad. I mean, some people, you know, there's obviously the terrible people in the world, but for the most part,
yeah,
people are not gonna do that. And I feel like it's kind of a fallback to, you know, all of us being able to like carry each other, even though we're not like in person. You know, music just has a way of doing that.
I agree. Yeah, and that's why I choose to share more rather than less in most cases. Like even sometimes I think to myself, am I saying too much? Do I seem like I'm, what's that?
I do that too.
Yeah. Well, anytime you're open, you know, I feel like there's sort of like a societal, you know, push to kind of like keep yourself a little bit, you know, inside or whatever. I don't think it's super healthy. And I think like the times that I've chosen to share, at least, there has been that at times that mutual kind of comforting and stuff like that. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And I choose not to be silenced.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Well, me too. You know, I'm naturally kind of an open person anyway. Like I'm just like, I don't even care. Like sometimes I feel like I give way too much information and it's gonna haunt me later in life. Like I'm pretty sure. But you know, I also feel like authenticity and transparency is what allows people to be more connected, and it's what you would be if you were in person anyway. So, you know, I feel like it's the only way to be able to have that trust with people, you know. And so, and then that way they're more apt to want to listen to your music and more apt to want to you know, the connection is, I think, what draws people into who you are as an artist and what you're saying and what you stand for and all of that. So I
suppose so.
Yeah, you know, in some way, I mean, I don't know, I've never really thought about it until right now, but I feel like it is.
Yeah, there's always a desire to know. Well, not always, I guess, but at least, and from my perspective, when I'm listening to a musician, typically if I really like what they're doing, I want to know what they're all about. And, you know, you can say, here's a picture of my dog, and, you know, I'll definitely like that photo. But if you tell me something where you're like bearing your soul and like really getting in deep and being, like you said, authentic or organic and stuff like that, that kind of really, that resonates more with people. I know it certainly resonates more with me. And you always take a risk, like you were saying, that, you know, if you say a lot, some people may say you say too much or could bite you in the ass. But if you don't, you're holding back and you're missing out for sure. You know, so I'd rather say too much and, you know, at least just be my truest self than hold it in for the sake of offending like 3 people or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like, I totally agree. Like what is it worth it just for the 2 or 3 people that are gonna be irritated or whatever, rather than hitting the mass of people that are there for a genuine reason, you know? And you know, with a platform like Your and I's, I think there's more opportunity for that. But you know, I think that's kind of the goal in the end, is to just kind of, you know, be able to share with people and share the music that you and I are bringing people on for, you know, and the what they're also trying to do is bring people into their music and share. So I feel like it's kind of like a revolving door. No, wrong word.
Vicious cycle. That has
cycle. Yeah.
Cyclical. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a special thing that, you know, we have the opportunity to you know, do in some capacity. And at the end of the day, I say let's go for it. You know, why hold back? Life is too short.
Do you feel like being a musician and seeing it on the indies, like being an indie musician on that side, is easier for you to be able to interview the musicians that you do on your show?
Yes and no. I still find myself asking the same stupid questions that I would hate if somebody asked me. I always ask people, and I'm probably going to do it tonight too on the showcase, tell me about yourself. And when someone asks me that, I'm like, oh God, like what? Like I ate like a pizza for lunch. Like I don't know where to begin. But no, yeah, I think I'll say more than like asking people questions, more than it helping me in knowing what to ask people when a musician talks about their struggles or their process or anything, I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So yeah, in that respect. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a unique perspective to be able to come into the conversation, being the musician and knowing, as you said, like knowing those struggles and hearing them and be able to talk about music and not just like from an outside perspective of a listener, but also being someone who understands the process too. And, you know, you can kind of connect on that level too, and bring them a little bit more comfort in the conversation of what they want to talk about, I guess, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, comfort is key when it comes to being an indie musician, because there's a lot of things to lament and
yes,
you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, is there anybody on your show that you feel like you know, would, if they're just kind of like new in it, like would they, I haven't really just, have you like brought people on that are like kind of bigger, like a step up, you know what I'm talking about? Like not bar scene, but like a little bit more, you know?
People that you're talking about, people that have come on the show that I'm genuinely shocked agreed to come on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's a solid number of those. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna come on? Are you sure?
Did I read that right?
Right. Seriously.
Yeah. Do you have you found anybody that's like that, where you're just like, oh my gosh, and you get to the end of it, like me, I find that sometimes I get really nervous. Like I'm just like, I cannot F this up or else I'm gonna stop the show.
Oh yeah, no, I've done that a couple of times and like, okay, be cool. And then I'm just calling him like bro, or like saying like the same word over and over every sentence, and I'm like, that's not cool. More cool. bro.
Yeah. I do that so much. Like, it's so funny because I find that like I'm surprised half the people come on too. Like I still, a year and a half later, and everybody's like, why are you surprised people want to be on your show? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm still the person at the beginning, though I've grown exponentially since then. Yeah. You know, I'm still that person. And I just, I'm like, man, why do these people want to come on my show? Like, who am I?
I'm sure they have a good time at the end of the day, though. So that's exactly, you know, a good time, and they meet a few new people, and a few new people meet them. I mean, that's what it's all about. So yeah, every time I think about that too, you know, typically it ends up being a good experience for everyone involved. So
yeah, I do too. I find that sometimes the more nervous I am, the better the interview. Yeah. Because then I'm more on point. Yeah. And like, I'm more focused.
Can't slack off like you do when you're talking to reggaeton artist Rory D'Laslow.
Well, friend, you are, I mean, there's a whole different, you're in a whole different ball game of people. So I feel like you're, the dog is coming to say hello. She's, I don't know if you can see her. Yeah.
Can hear.
She decided she wanted to join. I know. I've got to go though. Can you go back? Thank you. I just feel like it's so much fun to be able to have people like yourself on and just be able to have that camaraderie of us both being able to share music and people and bringing people on. And I just love it. I love being able to, at the end of the day, I just love doing it. And I feel like you do too. I've seen your lives, and you kill it too. So I feel like it's something that it kind of brings you some joy as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one selfish component of the showcase that I probably forgot to mention is I get to hear awesome music. That's pretty cool.
Right.
It's like some person that I like from, like you said, Canada or, wherever, Washington.
Yeah.
And they're like, can I play you a new song? I'm like, can you? Please do it. I wish the sound quality was a little bit better sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Gist of it, and the spirit is there,
Yeah. Whenever they'd ask me that question, do you mind if I do an unreleased song? I'm like, we encourage that on this show.
Yeah, go for it, right?
I mean, we're going to keep the interview up, so you might want to think twice, but
don't screw it up. No pressure.
Definitely encourage it.
Exactly.
That's my favorite, is when they're like, can I play a new song or an unreleased song or whatever? And I'm just like, heck yeah, man. It makes me feel special that they want to even do it,
Exactly.
But you're right. Like, being able to hear music live with the person and somebody that like a couple days ago I had King Youngblood on, and he had this really amazing song that I've never heard acoustic. And holy cow, it just made it like 100 times better, him just being with the acoustic. And I just feel like we're kind of lucky in that way to be able to share those moments with people and hear the music like just us, I don't know. Like it feels so like intimate almost, of being able to hear it live and in person where you wouldn't be able to normally,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Who do you have this might be too biased of a question, so you can opt out if you want and take the fifth, but do you have a favorite of anybody you've had on?
I love them all.
The fifth.
You should have asked me my least favorite, and I would have said, oh, that guy Nick Isham. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know him that well. That's pretty awkward if he ever hears this. But, no.
Nick is actually, funny enough, Nick is like the MVP of my show. He has been on every single month since March.
Oh my goodness. Nick was great. Nick was great.
Yeah. I saw that show. He was really great on that one too. Like I'm looking forward to Camden's later. And actually how I found Nick is through Camden.
Yeah.
They were live together.
I think you would mention that. Yeah, I always associate the two together.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good friends. But
cool.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy the I'd have to say, like, I think how many people interviews have you done so far?
This is episode 57, but it's kind of confusing because some of them had 4 guests and some of them had 3, but somewhere around 100 something. How about you?
Yeah, I think I include the ones that people come on again because it's new music and new people, but I don't know. I just include it all, but I think if you didn't include people that have come on several times, like Nick, it'd probably somewhere near 250. But with those other people, like them coming on multiple times, I've now crossed probably somewhere near 400.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. Yeah.
It's a lot. And I didn't really think about it until somebody asked me, and I was like, that's a great question.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of
like, I had to go through and really think about it. It took me like a day to get back to them. I'm like, let me think about that for a second.
Yeah. I'm the king of spreadsheets and whatnot. So I have it all down, like 3 different places. But
oh wow, yeah. I did in the beginning. I was like, this person, this day, this time, or whatever. But I kind of just stopped because it was so like overwhelming trying to keep up with like 6 days, and I had to get like my own calendar on my phone because it was so much because I couldn't remember who was happening.
Sure, yeah. I sometimes forget who's on the I shouldn't admit this, never mind, strike that from the record. I was gonna say there are times I like get on there and I'm like, today we have What episode number is this? Where am I? Who am I?
Oh my God, I've done that too. Or I'll not realize it's a Tuesday and I'll get on 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be on. And I'm like,
oh, no.
Hi, guys. I forgot.
We can't let them know how the sausage is made. They have to think.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen.
I've only done it twice. Twice.
Oh, and I see Max said something. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, though.
Let's see.
Did I find it thrive on the opposite?
I'll find a thrive.
Huh. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but if you're still here, Max, feel free to chime in. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, please join in. I find it so much fun trying to just keep up with everybody. Like, yeah. I now have to have a calendar to keep myself straight.
Yeah, seriously. Being comfortable. Sorry. Oh, you thrive on being uncomfortable or being comfortable, Max?
Maybe in the writing process, or
I'm not sure. Max is a killer guitarist, killer musician, so I'm curious what he's saying.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I was focused on what he was trying to say, and I lost my train of thought. The phone is dying. Hold on.
Oh.
Let me get the charger. There we go. I thought I had enough juice, but I did not. Okay. Don't want to die. I usually plug it in first, but I was like, oh, I got 50%. I'll be fine.
Oh, famous last words, yeah.
Right?
It never works out. Instagram.
Have you ever had your phone die in the middle of a show?
I think I have, probably. How about you?
Once. And luckily we were at the end, and it popped up at 10%, and I completely forgot because we got in conversation. And I was like, and we were like, oh, well, it was great to see you. And then it just died.
Oh, no. At least you got a great to see you part.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and I didn't even get to save it.
Oh, no, that's so annoying. That is
so it was
where I couldn't save it. Yeah.
What made you make the decision of not saving them, like keeping them as like a IGTV or something?
Oh, I do now. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. In the beginning, the option wasn't there. I don't think it was just it posted to your story, but then they enabled that feature. I've been doing that, saving it to the Showcase Instagram TV account.
Yeah. Now it was, but I was curious in the beginning if you were doing it or not, or if it was. I think you're right. I think it wasn't an option, huh?
Yeah, and you know what too? I was doing it for my personal account initially. So some of them are on the IGTV of the personal account, and some of them are on the second account's IGTV, which is like an OCD nightmare. I'm very like obsessive about like small details like that. So thanks for reminding me. Now I'm upset. Just kidding. Yeah, I think the first 25 episodes aren't on there. No, it's
I mean, I have the same thing, friend. Like, I'm totally, like, I have to have, like, I'm the same way. I totally get it. Like, I originally was doing this from my original account, too. And then I was like, no, man, I gotta, like, separate it.
Yeah.
Or else it'll just drive me nuts.
Oh, yeah. In the beginning, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. But then now it's taken on, and I don't even post that much about it. I typically actually try intentionally to just post the flyers on the feed, which is probably not advisable. I should probably post more than that. But even so, like now, it would have been really hard to do that while I'm promoting my own stuff on my personal account. So I don't know. It's just it's nice to have its own home.
Sure. I'm kind of an.
Oh, I get what you mean, Max. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Embracing, who you are and how you feel in a particular moment. There's nothing more liberating than that.
Yeah.
That's why I finally accepted that I'm tall. I was in denial for a long time. Just kidding. It's like, unfortunately.
That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Uh-oh.
I thought you were going to say something of music, and you're like, I'm tall. Like, that's just...
Hey, listen, it's not easy being tall. It's, I can't fit into doorways. I'm not that. I'm taking 6'3". It's not that exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking a really serious, like, pretty thoughtful point from Max and turning it into a corny dad joke. Sorry.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm short, so I'm just saying. I've accepted that I'm short. I'm like 5'6" or something. I think I actually lost an inch, and I think I'm 5'5" now.
Really?
Yeah.
How? I don't know. How's it possible? I don't know.
I feel like it is. Yeah, I feel like I get shorter by the years.
Well, I only wear boots now, pretty much. Everybody thinks I'm growing in my 30s, but not quite.
I should wear heels or something and make people think I'm taller than I really am.
Nobody has to know your secret, except anyone who's on here. We all know.
Yeah, right. We're only sharing with the 3 people that are here.
Exactly.
Well, did you want to share your song?
Sure.
Do you want to sing it for us?
Absolutely. I have the guitar right here next to me. So this is my newest reggaeton song.
Yes.
Yeah. What's up, Melissa Peterson? Lots of familiar faces. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Yes, we appreciate you guys.
So this song is called Power of My Love, and it's available everywhere now. Hanging on by the skin of my teeth, weary-eyed and weak on my feet. You can't try to tear my grounds away. Bigger now than we ever were before. Broken hearts giving way to open doors. Building bridges to carry on your name. You have gone away from here, but you are still my home. Nobody can take that from me. My heart is still your home. And I have come this far when the times get tough. Keep you in my heart when I feel like giving up. Down tries to tell me enough is enough. You've never witnessed the power of my love. You never hear me say that things are fair. Taken when I was scared and unprepared. How can I ever reconcile the truth? A heavy weight that I never thought I'd know. Never thought this is how our lives would go. Losing someone beside me since my youth. But I won't be made standing or held frozen by my tears. I will keep your memory close so you can never disappear. Oh, and I have come this far when the times get tough. Keep you in my heart when I feel like giving up. Doubt tries to tell me enough is enough. You've never witnessed the power of my love. I have come this far when times get tough. Keep you in my heart when I feel like giving up. Doubt tries to tell me enough is enough. You've never witnessed the power of my love. Thank you. I should have warmed up before I started going for those high notes, but here we are. There's no turning back.
I still love that song. Jeez.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's so much more powerful when you sing it in person too. Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just a fantastic song, friend. You did amazing.
Thank you so much.
I absolutely loved having you on, and I feel like you need to come back.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I think you're amazing, an incredible person, and I'm so glad that, I don't know, we collided somehow. And
same, back at you.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your music and sharing your heart with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Everybody please go and follow my friend. You know, he's got such amazing music. I feel like everybody should just download it today and stream it. And Power of My Love is the newest song, so be sure to just support him and love him like I do, and see his show too. Can you tell people like where they can find your show?
Yes. The Songwriter Showcase on Instagram every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. So tonight we have an episode as well in a few hours. And yeah, it's on Instagram live.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the show and know Camden West, he's been on the show a couple of times. He's going to be on Rory's show tonight. So be sure to check that out if you want. It's in a couple of hours. I'll be there.
Yes. Thank you.
So everybody, thank you for coming on. Those of you that stuck out to the end, thank you for sticking it out to the end. And just, you know, be sure to support him. So thank you, Rory, so much for coming on.
Thank you. And support Cara Jean, guys.
Thank you. All right, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Take care, guys.